is Joshua G. Eaton, and today I'm reviewing Mega Shark vs. Crocosaurus. Yeah! Now this was the shit, yo! I love this sequel, and I'll tell you why. Because it's better than its predecessor, that's for sure. Compared to the first Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus, this film was made by a completely different team of people, and it was actually a much better film than whatever happened with the first film. Like, yeah, compared to the predecessor, this movie actually somehow manages to improve upon what made the first movie such a shit show to watch. Now, before we get into the actual review itself, with the story and all, I want to discuss about the film's team of actual crew members and director. Let's talk about that, because I think that's kind of interesting. So, when it came to the first Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus movie, that film, of course, apparently they got some director who had very little experience with the actual Asylum network, which kind of really shows and explains why the movie actually is shit. Because clearly this guy didn't have enough experience working on these low-budgeted B-movies to understand that they're supposed to be so bad it's good. But yeah, apparently the director for the first film, Jackie Perez, he didn't really have experience with the Sci-Fi or Asylum network, but he had experience with the actual outsourced studios that worked on the network's VFX, Flat Earth Productions, which provided the visuals and or slash CGI, in this case, for shows like Xena Princess Warrior. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Or was it Hercules? I don't know what it was. Anyway, I might have to research it up again. I'm sorry, I feel embarrassed for not knowing that shit ahead of time. But anyway, I really do not care because that movie was just such a shit show. I just hated it, you know? And clearly this guy did not know how to actually work out the CGI to make it look somewhat convincing. Like, this is like some of the worst I've seen from the Asylum network yet. And with Mega Shark vs. Crocosaurus, they instead got a brand new director. His name is Fred, no, not Fred Olen Ray. That's his director, father. This is the son of Fred Olen Ray. Yes, we got Christopher Douglas Olen Ray at the helm of directing Mega Shark vs. Crocosaurus. Christopher Douglas Olen Ray is actually the son of Fred Olen Ray, like I said before already. I just had to repeat it because it's just interesting to see how this guy got just one connection with his father, and that was enough for him to even be in this film as a director. And yeah, Christopher Douglas, he has worked on plenty of B movies in the more recent years for Asylum. He made some masterpieces such as Megaconda. And yes, I'm not even joking. Megaconda's a legit masterpiece. Go and watch that shit. If you have not watched Megaconda, you are missing out on all the good B-movie fun. And then there's also another movie that he made, which became an Asylum franchise, the Two-Headed Shark Attack movies. Yeah. So this was his first time directing, and to be fairly honest, it's not that bad. I honestly kind of liked it. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. There's still a lot of negatives as much as there is positives in this movie review. But to be fair, there's more positives that actually outnumber the negatives in this movie compared to the first film, which is better than nothing, I guess. Starting off with the first positive being that this movie's pacing is a lot faster compared to the first film. Whereas the first movie has a sluggish pace and it feels like it takes hours and hours just to even get to the big battle sequence at the end, which, mind you, the big battle sequence is pretty much nothing because it's just a bunch of bad CGI monsters that look so poorly animated that you barely could even tell what the hell you were even watching. Whereas to this movie, you could actually see the CGI because it's not as dimly lit as before. And mind you, the pacing for this movie is a lot faster and has more scenes with the actual monsters. So it pretty much gives the audience what is expected. The fast pacing really helps this movie to elevate its wacky action and wacky tone throughout. And it really makes the actors seem like they're more invested in the movie because they have to do so many things all at once while this movie's even getting filmed. Like, it feels like this movie was made under studio notes and obligations, but clearly, for a movie made under studio notes and obligations, it's better than compared to the first movie. I'll accept it because at this point, the first movie was so shit. It was like scars beyond belief that this movie actually manages to feel like a breath of relief. It feels like I'm actually breathing now and that I can actually invest in what's going on while it's all being so fast paced. Like, it's kind of hard to explain because, like, yeah, usually when a movie's this fast paced, you can't really invest in the characters and stuff. But in this case, I can actually invest it because it's not going overly long like the first movie. It's better than nothing. Compared to the first movie, this is like a godsend. Like, I'm not even joking. This is like a godsend compared to the first. Another improvement that this movie made to the first film is actually, surprisingly, the acting. Like, I'm not even joking when I say this. They got Jaleel White as the lead star of this movie, and he is great in this film. He is amazing. I laughed, I cried, I actually felt legit emotions in general when watching his performance. It's like, Jaleel White, he's not that bad of an actor, guys. And clearly, if he played Urkel, there's no doubt about it. He's a good actor. What can I say? And for a movie that supposedly has a D-list cast, Jaleel White stands out amongst all the other cast members, and he really nails his performance. He is just absolutely brilliant in this movie. And then you also got my other favorite actor that I like in this movie. His name is Gary, and he is just brilliant. I love Gary in this movie. I don't know why people hate him. Like, seriously, y'all guys really hate his accent in this movie? Well, it's still better than whatever Vince was doing in the first film with a Scottish accent. Mate. I don't even know what that was. Why did I say mate? That's not even like what Scottish people say. Oh my god. Why did I say that? Anyway, Gary, I don't really remember his last name, unfortunately. I would have to check that out, but yeah, Gary, this actor who mind you would also play one of the military soldiers in command for another Asylum movie, which features dinosaurs. I think it's called Jurassic Attack. Is it? Yeah, Jurassic Attack, right? Yeah, Jurassic Attack. Stupid movie. No, wait, it's not called Jurassic Attack. Isn't it Jurassic Prey? Oh, never mind. Why am I thinking about this shit? Jurassic Prey, stupid. Anyway, yeah, he was in a Mark L. Lester movie, which, yeah, Mark L. Lester, he was known for Commando at the time of the 90s. But now at this point, Mark L. Lester has to go to low-budgeted B movies. Well, better than nothing, I guess. Well, clearly he did a great job in this movie. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but just a cheaper version or knockoff, I guess. And in some ways, he's also like an Indiana Jones ripoff slash he's like one of those explorer type ripoff movies guy. Like, he's, in general, his character is reduced to being a stereotype, but in this case, Gary does such a great job in this movie that I could barely notice it. So kudos to him. He was great in this movie. I loved it. I think he was funny. I think he had a lot of the most memorable lines in this movie. Like, I literally quote a lot of his lines in this film. Now you're just making them more pissed off. A 100-foot pissed off croc. Or something like that, or I don't know. Like, he was just funny in this movie. I loved it. No, it looks like they just craned the canal. But you get the point. I like the actor. His name is Gary Stretch. Yes, Gary Stretch. I had to research this up right now. His name is Gary Stretch. Gary Stretch is a brilliant actor. I'm sorry. Like, compared to most of the other actors in this movie, he was just amazing. I just loved him. I just loved his acting. He looks amazing in this movie. I think he sounds great. What can I say? Jalil White and Gary Stretch really nail their performances. They really do a good job in this movie. And I think they really pull together what's essentially this low-budgeted B-movie with poor CGI. It's like, clearly, they understand what they're doing, and they're having fun with it. I like it. I like it a lot. However, this is where I have to stop all the positive notes because, of course, I did mention that this movie also has a lot of bad qualities. In fact, there's still many bad qualities to this movie, despite all the positives I mentioned. Because, like, yes, I did mention this movie's an improvement over Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus. That doesn't mean it's not necessarily a bad movie. Anyway, going on to the negatives, the main issue with Mega Shark vs. Crocosaurus, in general, I should say, is that, yes, it's better than the first movie, but at the same time, they had to downgrade elements that made the first movie enjoyable to some people who liked it in the first place, for how so bad it's good it was. Like, remember how the first movie had such bad CGI? Well, in the sequel, let's just say the CGI looks like this.
Corner of the cave, measuring at an incredible length of 1,500 feet from the deep jungles of Congo, the mother of all crocs, Crocosaurus.
I don't think she's the only beast out here.
And in the other corner, it's huge, it's agile, and it has one heck of an appetite.
That CGI still looks like shit. Listen, I don't have a problem with B-movies having bad CGI, guys. But when it looks so bad that you're gonna consistently change the monster's sizes, and then you're gonna have, like, all these inconsistency errors with the CGI in general, where it looks to the point where it's like a video game from your PS2, yeah, that's a sign that you shouldn't use CGI, guys. That's pretty bad. But anyway, I will say, though, the only improvement that the CGI has over the first movie, like I said before, is it's not dimly lit. I'll say that. It's not as shoddy, it's not as dark, it's not as dimly lit as the first movie. It's none of that shit. I'll say that. And they don't try to rip off Jaws. They don't try to rip off any other monster films with the CGI in general. So that's good, I guess. So there's more originality with that. They clearly were trying to play into the more creative and fun type CGI, which I guess is fine. But the problem is that whenever the movie gets more ambitious, yeah, you can really see the CGI's age. It's just not good. It looks like early 2000s CGI, even though this is like a movie released in the 2010s, so it somehow looks worse than its predecessor just because of that. Like, yeah. This movie CGI somehow simultaneously looks better and worse than the predecessor. Like, I can't not describe how many mixed feelings I have with the CGI. There are times where the CGI just looks okay for a silent B movie. Other times, it looks kind of bad. Like, it's just like plain mediocre bad. Where it's not the worst CGI, but then again, still looks kind of bad. Could use a little bit more, I don't know, life. And then other times, it can look so stilted and poorly animated that it makes you laugh your ass off. Like, I'm not even joking. This movie made me have some belly laughs out of the CGI, especially considering that this movie doesn't have a good sound design. That's also a sign that the CGI and the sound effects are not working the shit very well. And overall, it's gonna make the experience more laughable as it gets through. It's like, yeah. But to conclude, Mega Shark vs. Crocosaurus, despite some of its faults in the CGI department, which, mind you, that's all of its faults, basically. With the CGI, that's like all these issues of this movie combined, basically. They're all, I don't even know how to explain the issues of this movie, because the only real issues in this movie include CGI, more bad CGI, and CGI on top of CGI. It's just really bad stuff, especially stock footage, yeah. But regardless of what you say about all that stuff, This movie, on the other hand, in terms of story, is a lot more interesting than its predecessor. And I have to give them credit, they actually gave a shit. The people who worked on this movie put blood and effort into making something that was so trashy, yet so stupidly hilarious and fun. Like, honestly, I really enjoyed this movie. I had a blast. And even with some of the other D-list actors, yeah, they may not sound all that good. Those are probably the only other faults of this movie, I will admit, because, yeah, a lot of the other actors in this movie are pretty much garbage. I barely remember them, and they're not even that good. But to be fair, Gary Stretch and Jaleel White, they did a brilliant job in this movie. What can I say? I really love their performances in this movie. I'm being legit honest. Like, if I had to give this movie a 10 out of 10 in the B-movie department, that is what I would give it. I would give it a 10 out of 10. I'm not joking. It's a great crapster piece. It's a crapster piece, guys. It's a crapster piece. In fact, that's what I'm going to be calling all my trashy movies whenever I review them. If your movie is so bad it's good, it's a crapster piece. This movie is a crapster piece.